Good morning, I'm Lindsey Smith and I'm a writer from Houston, Texas. I'm a story intensive grad as well as a teacher this year, and I'm taking over stories to talk about my experience in the intensive as well as take you along on my writing day. See you later. Hello again. My baby is napping and we are in my office, which I'll show you. Giant pirate tent, large stack of books, of course. So I wanted to talk about how I came to the story intensive. It was actually a tweet. I don't even really like Twitter that much, but I really owe Twitter. So it was back in 2012. I was really trying to write, which tells you everything that you need to know about how it was going. Not well. And by that I mean I was just very unhappy and frustrated. and I don't think a lot of good writing tends to come out of a place like that. So I was trawling Twitter, as you do, and I came across a Margaret Atwood tweet. And of course I clicked over because Margaret Atwood, just giving out free writing advice, you know? So I click over and I start reading the copy on the school's website, and it just felt so different than anything I'd encountered, different than the internal dialogue that I was having about my writing. And I just knew it was what I needed. And lo and behold, I was right. Call that intuition or dumb luck or being a Margaret Atwood fan. Thank you, Margaret. Coming at you from the car. So my experience in the intensive was a really big game changer. Up until that point, I'd been really results driven to a fault. I really just wanted to have written, you know, like I didn't really want to mess around too much with the writing part. It was kind of an inconvenience, and which is a bummer because that's this whole area from which all the good writing comes. And I was really overlooking it. So the intensive really closed that gap for me. My instructor was Christina Cha. Shout out to Christina for being the best. She had a real reverence for the free write, and she treated it as the real writing. It wasn't something separate. And that was a real game changer for me. Back in my office. It's funny how much the intensive really makes up like my early imprinting. It really changed how I wrote and how I even think about writing. I'll be talking to someone about writing and I'll say something, you know, particularly wise or learned, and I'll be like, wow, where'd I get that? And then I'll remember Sarah, the story intensive. One of the really big things that the story intensive gave me was how to read with curiosity. Any kind of reading, it could be like a friend's early work or my own early work or later stage work or a published book. It really doesn't matter. Just that attitude of openness rather than that tight fist of thinking that you already know everything that there is to know. It's so easy to think, oh, I like this or I don't like this. But the story intensive really taught me to look past that binary to the more interesting questions that lie on the other side or in the middle. And that's really where all the interesting stuff is. I'm about to start writing in this notebook that has pineapples on it. So this feels like a perfect time to talk about how the story intensive changed my process. You could say that story intensive gave me my process. which would be, I always know where to start now. Notebook, pen, timer, 10-minute free write. Do I always start there? No. I probably should, honestly, because it's just where I get all my best stuff from. But the cool part is, like, I know where to go back to if I get stuck. It's that foundation for me. I feel like the story intensive community is pretty special. It's almost like the school attracts a certain kind of writer who wants to go deeper, who doesn't just want to get published, but kind of also wants to write something that they will love. The students that I've met have been incredibly open-hearted, open-minded, incredibly generous with their feedback, and willing and ready to take big risks with their writing. Probably the most unexpected thing to come out of my time in the intensive is a novel, which is this thing. This novel is like the ode to the free write. So many free writes, so many. Most of which probably have nothing to do with what's in this binder, but they were so crucial. And, you know, now that I think about it, it makes perfect sense that I would have found an idea that could carry me over so many years, so many free writes, in an atmosphere like the intensive. I think the story intensive is for anyone who writes and anyone who wants to write. It's the kind of program that shapeshifts. You just get what you need. That's always been my experience as a student and as a teacher. It's pretty special. And I'm so grateful for Margaret Atwood and Twitter. I'm grateful for having discovered the story intensive because I don't think that I would have the same relationship with my creative practice if I hadn't. All right, well, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching and following along with my writing day. This was really fun, and I hope you had fun too. And I hope you stick around for the rest of the week. Tomorrow is Kristen, and Thursday is Sonal, and they're both such incredible writers, such incredible people. And then on Friday, we all get together for a live with Sarah, and I hope you'll join us. All right, bye.